Hello guys, it's Cassandra Jean with Cassandra Jean Designs, and I am playing today with my new line of intricate detail rollers. So these guys are built, I'm using a different color just to color code them so you can tell the difference between the really deep ones and the lavender intricate ones. So the deep ones are built basically where it's a more distinct design, where it's just basically two levels of height. So you've got the top edge and the bottom edge, and there's not a whole lot of dips and valleys in between. It's all kind of pushes down to the same depth. I tried stuff like this with the deep rollers for using the mokumegane, but if I put too much detail where I've got not all of it makes it all the way to the top edge, like it doesn't all make it to full height, then these details don't show up when I do a mokumegane shave. So the deep rollers are designed specifically for doing the mokumegane shaving. They're great for other stuff too, but in order to get the depth all the way down, I can't have all the intricacy in the details. So that's a good way to see it. There you go. So you can see that some of these details just don't go all the way down, where these guys, the detail is flush and flat and it's all the same length. Or same depth. And you can see it here too for the most part. There's a little bit of stuff that's not quite as deep, but most of it does. So you'll lose these details in the bottom part of your shave on a mokumegane. But anyway, so the flowy feathers one is actually in the intricate detail and works better that way, rather than, it actually works better for mokumegane that way too. So this one is not something I sell, it's just a practice one that I learned that I wanted to do another line where I do it like this. So this one is tribally tropical, and that's the extra large one. It's huge. And then that's the small one beside it. And so there's a pretty good difference in the size, and it's exactly the same roller, just scaled down. So it's not going to be quite as deep. So if you still want them a little deeper, you want to go with the extra large ones. Even on the small guys, they're not as deep if they're the smaller roller. Or even on the deep rollers, it's a little less deep if it's the small roller versus the large. But anyway, so what I'm thinking I'm going to do here is I want both sizes. These are both the debossed version, which leaves the pattern debossed on the clay. So it looks embossed on the roller, but what you have on the clay is debossed. So that's how I label them. But yeah, so you can see there's just multiple layers and more details and stuff. So anyway, I'm going to be playing with the Skinner blend. So, and these guys are also on my Etsy store, but I'm playing around with working on getting a better edge on them. So they're off at the moment, but they should be back on soon. And if they're linked below the video, they will be active on the store. So I've got, this is, the green is done with, sorry guys, I always try to get that information for you and I forget to have it out here. Yes, there we go. So forest green with pearl, white pearl makes that green. And this is some sort of scrap. I have no idea what. I know there's a bunch of pearl white in it. It looks like there's some, I think it was off of this stuff. So there's white, there's some pearl white in there. There's some, whatever this brown happened, I think got mixed with some white, and there was some spare stuff, so it got mixed into pearl white, and all of a sudden I have this great ecru kind of color, but I won't be able to recreate it. I'm very sad about that. Anyway, so Skinner blend. If I want the white to, if I want to go all the way one color to the other, you want to make sure that you're using a Skinner blend cut like this so that you will end up with a little bit of a single color on the end. I tend to not be so picky about that, and sometimes like this one I'll probably end up folding where it doesn't end in white because I don't exactly want it to. So stick you guys together, fold you over in half, and I will head to the roller and I will be right back with that. Okie dokie, Skinner blend has been blended, and I am planning on doing about half of it with the bigger roller and half with the smaller. And as far as earring shape goes, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pendant like that. Yeah, I can probably get 2 pendants in that size, and then big enough for the earrings. so if I want to try to get to that size, just getting an idea here. And then I'm going to cut that about in half. And then I'm going to take this and try to get my colors more compressed. So fold in half, and then I just kind of bring it in from the side, kind of push it that way and get it just a little bit compressed like that. And then run it back through. And that's a little bit shorter, but I want to get just a tiny bit tighter because I want my colors to have a similar blend through the cutter. And there we go. Okay, because the height of these I want to make is like that. So now I can get a similar amount of blend through each. So set the short one aside, keep the big one out, move some things around. I'm going to be working on you from that direction. Paper, just a little bit of a burnish down onto my tile. And paper towel and water sprayer. And alright, so I like to use, I've tried submerging these, and I think using a spray bottle is just a little bit more effective. And getting everything in there a little bit more deeply to make sure you're not missing anything. So I usually just kind of give it a little quick roll. And I like using, someone on one of my Facebook groups is like, hey, you should try putting a rolling pin of sorts in there. So I'm like, all right, I'll design one and see what we can do. So I love this. Let me see, get a little closer. So I'm gonna want the flower to be somewhat centered. So I'm gonna kind of play off of it a little and come to about there. I always start just a hair off from the edge. I don't come from the glass onto it because it's more likely to pick it up and grab it with. So if you make sure that this edge is burnished down and you start back just the tiniest bit from the edge and then roll through. And then having the rollers is pretty helpful. Although I don't think I put enough pressure there. There we go, good enough. All right, so now it's a little damp. So I find a dry paper towel and tap it off. I think the next thing I'm going to be designing is rails for my rollers, but we'll get there. Yeah, so nice, pretty, deep. And then what I'm planning on playing with today is, these are new-ish, but I'm loving them. I have to find the links and send, post it when I find them, but these guys are really neat. It's a powder that's advertised as you mix it with water, and it makes essentially a watercolor paint. But I love it for working on these types of things because we can just kind of dust it and use it like a mica powder. And it's kind of fun to go back and forth between the gold and the bronze. And this is the pale gold it's listed as. So yeah, so even for not being the deep versions of these rollers, they still get deep. I almost can't get my paintbrush back in there to get that out. I'm aiming to get the color all the way down in there. Alrighty. Tap that. And blow it out. And then we've got a nice, good bit of deep golds and such in there. So now, the fun part about this is, let's see if I can. Alright, so I want to bring a little off the top. And just polish it off essentially. And then I'm going to take my spray bottle of water again. And spray into it, because that kind of just sets it and basically makes it start to bond with the clay, sorta. So I've had really good luck using this like this. And yeah. So I'm gonna leave that sitting there to dry while we run through this one, and we should be able, should have enough room. Probably if I go down here, we'll have enough room. Oh yeah. So, piece of paper, burnish our clay down into place. Grab the little roller. Find my damp paper towel. And get all the crevices full of water. And then some of the water work back off so it's not soaking wet, but just nicely wet. And then this is a nice long stretch of it, so we'll have plenty of time to make sure that flower gets in there. There we go. So there's that one. That's again the difference between having it filled with color versus not. God, that's so pretty. Okay, so zoom back in for you guys. Bring my powders back over very carefully. And my messy paintbrush. And bless you. All the colors down in all those little crevices. I want to kind of almost use the brush to burnish it in a little bit, so that's part of playing with the deeper brushing. And then I will tap off the excess. Again, why I like using the tiles. Tiles are nice to clean up a little bit. Alright, brush paper towel. Dogs are helping Dad go outside. Rascals. And just taking a nice little light wipe off the top. go. Hopefully I have that in frame. Oh, and then a little spritz with our water just to kind of set it all down in there. Make sure that the powders kind of do their bonding thing. Okay, and then I had picked out these cutters. So I was thinking to get I guess we could zoom in on that, right? There we go. Ha. So there's lots of pieces and parts, but to be honest, just that leaf has got a lot going for it. So we'll do one right there. Trying to keep a good bit of coloration. There. And then I might want to take we've got that. Or I can do it a little less about the heavy details and incorporate, let's go somewhere right in between. Keeping it just clear of that other piece so I don't mess up its line. And then I'll go back to this direction probably, or that direction. Like that. And that I don't have enough for, so yeah, that goes that direction. Choose to, again, do I want the slightly less details, or yeah, no, that. So I want to get right up on the edge, so I'm going to pick this up and scoot it over slightly so that I'm not interfering with what was right there, because I don't want to mess up the edge between the two, or the shape of the other one. Make sure we're dry. And now I can cut whatever I want to in that. I've got my paper, burnish you down just a notch. And that's it. I really love those leaves coming in from that side. Ooh. Yeah, I think there it is. Okay, so those are cut out. This will be blended and become some sort of color. God only knows what. And that'll get used. And then now for these guys, let's go with the smaller set of earrings. I like getting that whole flower in there, that's awfully pretty. Really like that. Very pretty. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might actually be able to get a whole extra set of earrings in here. Okay. So here we are. So could have fun, and I could repiece all my scrap pieces together and flatten it all out, but considering it's kind of mica powder paint-esque, I usually don't do that. So I'll roll it up in a huge ball and see what we end up with. And blend it all out. Yeah, okay. That should be pretty enough color. Alright, so these guys now can go in the oven. And then I will be back shortly when they are finished. So I decided to start mixing down that ball of color, and that's what happened. So it's totally getting cut out and made into a spare set. I figured I'd just show you guys that. I tend to try to not let much go to scrap or to waste, so I'm always kind of playing with whatever's extra. So this I will probably blend down just into a ball, or into flat color at this point and see what it is. But that's kind of pretty. I thought y'all might appreciate seeing that. Okie dokie guys, these are out of the oven, and I played around with, this set ended up being a ball of mixed colors. I just kind of rolled it out, mixed it up and rolled it out until it gave a really cool effect. So I went ahead and just used that for frames for this set of earrings. And I like the way that looks, and because I resined that to get the shine up, I went ahead and resined the centerpieces so you guys could see the difference in resin versus not. So the resin has a really pretty effect on this type of finish, but I usually prefer it straight up without the resin, so you can see the depth and whatnot. And yeah, I love the way this set came out. So necklace piece, and its matching set of earrings. I just did those with the little diamonds for the studs. So earrings and the necklace. So get those pieces to go together. And then there's a few other guys in here, so these are some of the rest of the pieces from that. Apparently there's one more that got lost somewhere, but oh well. But yeah, so the difference in using the resin to finish versus leaving them straight up with all the details. The resin's really pretty, don't get me wrong. It has a nice effect and makes a really pretty, just domed and encased kind of effect, and it's very, very, very attractive. But I still kind of prefer them without anything extra on them. These two came out really cool too. Yeah. And then because we sunk all of our mica powder and got it that little bit of wet, and you know, with the aqua bronze stuff, it's supposed to kind of have a bonding agent of sorts, like a water activated bonding agent. I don't know if that's real or not, but especially when you sink it in like we did here, where we painted it in and then wiped off the top layer, you're not going to come in contact with it enough to wear it away anyway. So you're still pretty much just basic polymer clay on the outside. You could use some Renaissance wax, and I've done that on a few pieces. If the mica powder is to the outside, you just put a little dollop of this on to kind of just give it a little bit of protection for, and just kind of smear it on, rub it on, and then buff it off. And it'll give the mica powder a little bit extra protection. But finding the pieces of these that I've been wearing that I've done this way, actually I think one set's sitting here. Oh wait, no, this isn't the mica powders. This was the other thing I bought. This is the not alcohol ink. That one, I got this stuff. So this is another thing that seems to be holding up that call itself? Gilding. Yeah, liquid gilding. That's another one that seems to be holding up really well, especially when it's sunk into the details rather than left on top. And then this roller is the one that I'm calling Royal Orchids. So Tropically Tribal is this guy that we did in the project, and then this is Royal Orchids, which is another one of my intricate detail rollers. So yeah, anyway, I will get some photos for the intro and get these guys up on, get this video up on YouTube. Hope you all have a good one. Happy crafting.